Threats may or may not escalate to aggression, which includes those behaviors that result in harm to the opponent. In dogs, this usually means a bite. Any contact which leaves some sort of injury can technically be categorized as aggression. However, most inhibited bites that do not result in serious injury, such as torn clothing, a red mark, or a bruise, could be viewed as a threat instead. Clearly, the dog had the opportunity to deliver more serious injury, but made the choice not to. Aggression can also be categorized as offensive, defensive, or quite commonly mixed motivation, depending on the accompanying body postures and the presence or absence of chasing, lunging, or backing away. Classifying aggressive behavior into additional types or categories may sometimes be difficult to do. Any classification scheme is always somewhat arbitrary. The only value of attempting to label aggression as a particular type is to be better able to predict what a dog is likely to do next in that particular situation. For example, a defensively threatening or aggressive dog is unlikely to chase you down the street or charge across a room to bite you. However, an offensively threatening dog may. Types of aggression are determined primarily by the contexts in which they occur. Territorially motivated dogs become threatening toward individuals they perceive as territorial intruders and in locations they perceive to be their territory. This may include not only the owner's property, but also the owner's car or even a park or bike path where the dog is frequently walked. Once away from his territory, the dog may be friendly. Fear-motivated aggression is in response to any sort of attempted interaction with the dog that triggers fear. People often unintentionally trigger such behavior with the greeting postures they typically use. These consist of facing the dog, staring at him, leaning over him, and reaching over his head to pet him or let him sniff a hand. Instead of using these greeting postures, you should assume a non-threatening position by turning the side of your body toward the dog, avoiding eye contact. Keep your hand at your sides and possibly crouching down or partially bending the knees. Do not lean over from the waist. Dogs can potentially react with fear-motivated aggression to almost any attempt at interaction, but common triggers could be reaching for the dog's collar or attempting to snap on a leash, attempting to pick up a dog, or dangling a leash toward him. Possessive behavior occurs anytime the dog believes he is in direct competition with another individual for a resource. The resource might be food, a toy, or a favorite resting place when another individual walks by. Protective aggression occurs when a dog is protecting or defending a member of his social group. To label behavior as protective, look for some type of interaction with the owner that the dog could interpret as a threat. Examples include shaking hands, handing the owner something such as a package, hugging the owner, or roughhousing. If the dog reacts in a threatening way when an individual simply walks toward him and his owner, the dog is more likely attempting to keep the individual away from himself rather than the owner. One way to test this interpretation would be to approach the dog when he is next to an unfamiliar person to see if his behavior is different. Many owners incorrectly believe the dog is protecting them, when in fact he is fearful and only defending himself. Maternal aggression is easily identified, as it only occurs when a dam, or on rare occasions a sire, is protecting a litter of puppies. The female's threatening behavior could be triggered by merely approaching too closely, or by some sort of attempt at interaction with the pups. Dominance-motivated threats and aggression are directed toward members of the dog's social group, or when a dog is attempting to establish a dominant position with an unfamiliar individual. This form of aggression could result when a new dog is brought into a home of a well-established dog,